Okay, so let's now start editing and working this out a lot better and getting it actually laid out where we want. So I just switched everything over to version 1. We'll start with that, and we'll start with one at a time. Now, one thing I do like to do once I've finished recording, just so that this record enable doesn't come on every time I switch the track, I do like to remove the input. So that way there's no chance of accidentally recording over the top of any of these tracks because I've got the wrong track selected or anything stupid like that. That's just my paranoia, so feel free to not do that. But this is what I'm going to do anyway. Okay, so we need to obviously line this stuff up to the beat, really. Okay, so what we need to do is we'll unmute that first. Okay, so we've got 3 hits and a dum. So we know straight away that we can come to here because there's 3 hits and a boom boom. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in pretty far because this is not perfectly lined up. I'm going to trim that. And what I can do is just drag it back. Now, if you've got it locked to grid, you'll find that you can't go past it. Now, you can turn that lock to grid off or snap to grid, but you can also temporarily bypass it by holding down the control key, and that way it's not locking to the grid anymore, and I could come in here. Now, alternatively, what I could do is zoom in really close and trim the actual file to there, or even closer. And again, I can hold control to get it right on the beat there. And that way then I can use the snap to grid and just snap it to the grid. So in theory, it should be right. Because we know our drum machine was set to 60 BPM and our DAW is set to 60 BPM. And then we might trim the end off here. And I'll actually go back further because we don't need the noise on the end there. And I might do a bit of a fade. Okay, so you can hear what's going on there. All right, so that's good. Let's just do a quick save. Now I'm just going to switch over to the distorted and we will do the same thing. So we want 3 hits and a double. So let's just zoom right in really close like I did before. Can see the tops of this waveform is very squashed. That's that distortion that we applied because this is this distorted version. And we'll drag that over, lock it to the grid, and we'll just play it. And again, we'll trim the end off. Back a little bit, add a bit of a fade there. Now what we could have done is really, we could have gone back one like that and probably put a fade. Okay, so I'm comfortable that's going to work. I'll just do that same thing that I did then. Just bring it back one notch, put a fade there, just for neatness and paranoia there of avoiding any clicks as it comes in abruptly. Okay, now we need to line up the snare. And we'll go back with version 1. Okay, now I'm just going to make this bigger. Now we just need to work out how this actually laid out, but it looks like it was very even. So was there any breaks in this? Okay, no, that's fine. All right, so we'll do our same thing here. We'll actually zoom in really close. Actually, let's just trim it a little bit first. And then we'll zoom in really close. Yeah, right there. Okay, now we just need to work out where it actually hit. And I don't think that would be where it is. Okay, so okay, we've done, yeah, we're sort of not quite right here because, okay, I'll sort of stop the kick up a little bit. It's not quite right because it should start on this very first one of the double, which would be this one here, to be honest, when I brought it back. So let me zoom in again. So it should be there, and then we move that to, why is it not looking? Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's zoom this in here, right to the thing. Bring that. Okay, you don't want to lock. Okay, let's take that back to there. Let's zoom in. Right, now let's go back to the end. Have a look. Okay, we'll leave that double hit for the moment. We'll see how that pans out. So let's mute that. All right, so this seems more right now. So what we need to do now is, unfortunately, I need to go back and edit version 2 because I made the same mistake there. Just the nature of the way I programmed the kick, it sort of inherently plays an extra kick the first time around. So we move that. And I'm guessing at the end, we're still going to have hit with that double there, which we'll see how that pans out later. And then, okay, so we've got the snare. All right, so let's bring that in. And then we'll look at the end. I'm not sure how far we're going to go with the end. I wouldn't think we'd go there. So let's just take it. Just take it to there for now. Put a fade. Put a fade there, that's fine. That's the distorted one, kick. So now if we go to our distorted snare, okay, what we want to do is the same thing. Got to bring that in, zoom even more. Okay, now we're going to drag that to there. It should be right. We'll bring that back one, put a fade, just have a listen. Yep. Okay, that's right. We'll go to the end and trim off the end there. Excellent. All right, we'll switch those back to version 1. So now we've got those two done, now we just need to now look at our clap. So I'm going to shrink that kick, bring our clap. Okay, and this one here should be pretty easy to line up because I worked out it actually hits on the second kick. So I'll actually bring that kick back up. I'll shrink the snare. So we'll zoom in and we'll trim. Getting closer, closer, closer. You probably don't need to go that close. Can if you want, but you don't need to. Right, so we want to go with the second kick. All right, and we will do our usual. Bring it back one. Fade. Yeah, not too close. All right, let's get to the end. Bring that back. And yeah, we'll just line it up with that. Do a little fade. We'll have a listen. Beautiful. Now we'll go across to the second one and do the same thing. Now this one here you can see is a little bit shorter. This is the one that I made a slight mistake with when recording, but that's fine. We have the technology to fix it. All right, we'll bring that into there. Now we lock it. We'll find our second. That's not our second. That's our second. Bring it back one. Fade. All right, so let's now go to the end and let's have a look at how it panned out. We might be, are we one short? We might be none short, actually. Let's have a look. No, we are none short. We actually have it perfectly. It's just the fade's a bit shorter on this one, but that's fine. I can live with that. Now, the beauty of this is that we can mix and match too, because I could go for all distorted, or I could just say I like the distorted sound of the clap, but I'm not going to do the distorted sound of the kick. Now, obviously, we could have done that sort of work with some distortion tools and that sort of stuff as well. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so now let's see if we can line up our closed hat. So there's a bit of a gap with this part. So what we want, we need to line that gap up. So what we should do first is just get it locked onto the actual, the beat. Okay, so we'll get that in there. We'll get it on a beat here. Right, so what we should have, okay, the gap. I think the gap's there. Yep, yeah. Now, actually, the best way to work this out is to do the open hat, because that plays in the gap. All right, so let's unmute that one as well. And we will get this lined up. Something like that. Lock it in. All right, now. Okay, it's 1, 2, hang on. Let's shrink that one down just so I can see the kick and the snare. And it's 1, 2. I think it's there. And then based on that, that is pretty much where the gap is there. I need to see how long I recorded that, because we did record it longer, because I may want to bring it back. Okay, that works. The only thing with this one is that it doesn't actually start on the right spot. Okay, so do we have enough? Yep, we have enough. Right, so we go back to this one, and I'm going to bring that back. Let's zoom in a bit. And we'll go to that one there, and we'll fade. Okay, lovely. Let's do these two together. So we'll bring that back one, fade on that. And then we'll get to the end. All right, and I guess we'll trim to there. Yeah, we'll just trim it to there. And same with this one. Bring this back into there. Okay, that's looking good. Looking good. Just save that. Okay, now we need to do version 2 of both of these. So we'll do this one first. Let me zoom in first, just so I know. Right, so we get this lined up. Okay, we're a little bit close there. Okay, that's that one. And then we'll move it back. So it should be, yeah, let's zoom out a little bit. Should be there. Take it back one, do a fade. Okay, that's the start. And then if we switch this one over, Okay, so we have to go here again. We want to get that in. Is that, why is it not locking? There, that's where we want it. I think that looks all right. Fade. Let's just check. Sounds good to me. Let's go to the end. And the usual on the end here. All right, so. Right, so we should have two versions entirely. So if I switch all these over to version 2 and we play. All right, so that's version 2, and then you got version 1. Again, should be sounds good to me. So let's just shrink these down. We'll leave it on version 1. Just get these all to the same size. So what I want to do is I want to actually put these to a group channel, and for some reason, I don't know why they do that. If you highlight these channels and you right click in the edit window or the project window, it doesn't give you the option I want. So if I go to the mixer, scroll across, I have them selected. You'll see if I right click, we can have a add group channel to selected channels. And that's exactly what I want. So I want it to be stereo, the output to be drum bus, outside a folder, and I'm going to call it the drums. So I would generally do this when I have something that is like one instrument but has multiple tracks or something like that. And the beauty of it now, I'll give it a darker brown. So still stick with brown, but slightly darker. So all of these now are going to route through this channel first before it goes to the drum bus. So I can mute them all instantly, solo them all instantly through this channel here. But what it also means is that I could also do some effects or EQ or that across all of them together as one unit. I can still do them on the individual tracks as well, but it allows me to do them as a group also. So I just like to do that when it is one instrument with multiple sort of parts. And this is basically one instrument. It's the electronic drums, but I've just broken it up to give me some options. Now, what I'm also going to do, because we have multiple things now, I'm going to add these to a new folder, which we're going to call drums, and just give it the light color. Right, so we can now shrink that down, and we've got that. What we also needed to do was decide if we're going to put it as an outro. And we do have that option there. You know, there's no, the thing is that I've left that bridge part in there, and I can do the same thing here. I can leave this part in, which is our acoustic drums. So I might actually rename that to be like, actually, these are virtual drums. Let's not kid ourselves. Virtual drums, V drums, just so it makes sense. And what we can do is actually duplicate all of these over here. And we'll just zoom in just so we can get it in the right spot. And that is not the right spot. Why is it out of whack? You just zoom in nice and close to make sure we get it right. It should lock, but for some reason it's deciding not to lock. Actually, that's not even lined up. Well, that'll do. All right, so what it means now is now it's too long. So we need to decide what we want to do there. Let me think. At the end here. Yep. All right, so I think I'm going to cut that. We'll cut all those there. And I think I'll delete. Just thinking with this, I'm thinking about something. Now, if I trim that back. Is that about the right spot? Let's have a look. Right, and we're going to trim there. We're going to delete that. Then I'm going to trim, say here, delete that. Okay, so we sort of put that in an unusual spot there, but that's fine. It's sort of out of time to what it was doing before. So if we go here. And what we might do when we get to the mixing stage, that may even get, that last hit may get a massive sort of reverb on it to just whoosh right out for ages. I think that'll work as a finisher there. So I'm happy with that. So we've still got our other option there. We haven't wiped any options out here. And we'll close that down. And that is where our song is right now. So just take it back here a little bit. Just play a bit. Now, I'll probably need to do something with this bridge editing. I'm not convinced I want it to start right then. So what can we do? I'm sort of tempted to have one of these come in though. Okay, the question is, when do we start? Do we do what I sort of did here? And we come in here? All right, so let's assume that we do come in there. So if let's just trim some of these things. So let's say a hi-hat maybe comes in earlier. Not really sure where though. All right, let's just start by muting these parts. I didn't trim the kick. Where do we trim the kick? Do we trim it on the one? I guess we'll try that. It's all experimentation when it comes to this stuff. That hit late. Okay, that's not even lined up at all. That's what I wanted. Okay, I'm not convinced about that hit. I think that's too early. So I'm going to bring it back to there first, and I'll bring this back to here. No, it's not working. I think we need that hit. And take that to there. Get rid of that clap there. Maybe not that one. And this hat is still... Actually, I wonder if you could do that one and include that one. Let's try again. Let's keep trying a couple of things here. Okay, we're getting closer, but it's still not there. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Let's take that back. Let's see if that works. Let's get rid of that. No, not quite. But maybe just that first one could be gone. Yeah. All right, somewhere around here, I want the snare to come back in. Okay, and then the hi-hat, I'm feeling needs to come in somewhere here. So that's sort of the start. Let's try that. think I'm going to go in there and then maybe there. Just a little bit in. Let's have a look. I think if I get rid of that one there, I'd be happier. Okay, let's take that fade back and we'll take out that last hit. Just get that fade. I think that's okay for now. Now the thing is that I need to actually duplicate that in the distorted one if I'm going to do it. All right, so we need to mute that first one. Why? Oh, that's fine. It's all right. Okay, and we got to trim off this second hit. All right, and now let's go to the second one of the snare. Okay, we're going to trim it right there. And mute that part. And that should be it for that. All right, this one's a little trickier. So we'll first off, okay, we want to trim it about there. Okay, we're going to mute that, but trim that, unmute that. Okay, we'll move that back. I better zoom in and check that because it won't be right. Okay, that's good. All right, now the next one is, yeah, trimmed about there. We probably should have given that a little bit of a gap. We'll probably need to add fades on those too, but we'll do that later. And because I'm not 100% convinced of this yet. Getting there. Yeah, we'll say there. Doesn't have to be accurate with this one. All right, so now version 2 should sound the same. Now keep in mind our guitars are still not in time because it's still our rough. All right, excellent. What we didn't do was copy the distorted over to the outro there. Oh no. And we did that before we chopped all this up. Okay, maybe we'll just leave that outro for the moment. We can build that later if we so choose, because the decision's going to be mainly around this middle one, and I'm going to leave it on version 1 anyway right now. So there we go. That is where I'm going to leave these drums, and obviously save. All right, so now that you have seen me record my electronic drums, if you are planning on recording drums, electronic drums, and you have them, please go to the worksheet in the PDF and write down what parts you need to record, and then complete them, mark them off as complete as you get through and you've recorded them all. And get all of your electronic drums into your song, ready to go for the next part, and hopefully finishing your song at the end of this course. If you do have any questions about this process and about electronic drums or anything to do with that, the process, plugging it in, your particular unit, whatever you've got, please leave the question in the comments so we can have a discussion about it. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.